The nutjob left, the globalists who have slowly but steadily been destroying every Western country in the entire world, are finally starting to wake up a little bit and see the wind that they have sown. In particular, Tom Swarbrick of LBC, who often seems to be one of the first left-wing nutjobs to actually wake up and see the truth of diversity and globalism, is now seeing the exact same thing once again because of the mass invasion of 60,000 Arabs into Spain over a single day in Ceuta. He's woken up, he sees the truth, and he is no longer able to ignore what his eyes are telling him. Now, if you want the news that legacy media won't show you, like and comment under this video for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel as well. Or you can join my Substack to see the content I'm not allowed to post on YouTube by clicking the link in the description down below.
The pictures from this are actually incredible. I don't think I've ever seen something like this before. I've been covering the migration crisis, as it's been called, for a decade or so now. I've been to the camps at Calais. I've met the people who have arrived in this country on the back or underneath lorries. I've even found someone climbing out from underneath a lorry at a service station in Britain. I've been on the beaches of the Greek island of Lesbos 10 years ago when those boats began to arrive from Turkey as the crisis in Syria took hold. The children in those life jackets.
There we are. We noticed the instant left-wing bias popping out right away there. He didn't say anything about the fighting age men, the terrorists, the murderers, the rapists. His heart just naturally, instantly went on over to the children, of which there are almost none every time we look at these migration crises.
That was so big for them that if they fell into the water, the so-called life jacket would come over their head and drown them. The world has been on the move for a long time, and Europe is no closer, it would seem, to finding a response to this. But what do you do?
Actually, Europe is getting a hell of a lot closer to finding a response to this. It's just you and the rest of the left don't like that response. It is to shut the borders, to deport all illegal migrants and all foreign criminals. Germany is pushing that direction with the AfD. France is pushing that direction with Le Pen now ready to stand in the next presidential election. We're pushing in that same direction with Reform UK and Restore Britain as well.
When 50,000, nearly 60,000 people storm your border. This is what happened in the Spanish enclave of Ceuta, and here's the challenge, as we are facing in the UK when it comes to the difference between the interpretations of laws and the majority of people who agree that this situation is unsustainable. As is reported, the influx of those people who are swimming through the water, landing on beaches, running up through the roads, the influx comes as Spain's Supreme Court ruled this month that migrants stopped at sea while trying to reach Ceuta or Melilla, another Spanish enclave, cannot be summarily returned to Morocco.
So once again, we see that the migration crisis isn't caused by democratically elected leaders pushing for things that their voters actually want them to do. They're pushed by unelected bureaucrats, left-wing judges and lawyers like Keir Starmer, like Lord Hermer, the horrific previous Attorney General to Keir Starmer, who pushed directly against the wishes of ordinary people to destroy their countries on purpose. That's exactly why this crisis in Spain has erupted, because left-wing judges overrode democracy and said, no, we don't care what the Spanish people want or think. This is what we want, and it's going to happen, so we're going to make it illegal to send migrants back home.
Right, so if you arrive by sea in any of these places, the court says you can't be sent back. Well, there is your green light. If the law effectively brings down national borders, there are no national borders.
Inflation has been out of control ever since COVID hit all over the world. The UK, US, Canada, Europe, it's the same story. Our currencies are dropping in value and our governments seem more than happy to print away regardless of how much it damages us, which is exactly why I've been personally investing into gold ever since I started on YouTube 5 years ago, as it is the world's oldest protection against inflation. No matter what our governments try to do, they cannot print more gold, and even more importantly, for many people like myself, gold and silver currency currency is 100% exempt from capital gains and income taxes, making precious metals more important than ever for protecting yourself from this nightmare. That's why I've partnered up with Gold Bullion Partners. They help you protect yourself with gold investments, coins, storage, and most importantly, they can even help you invest in gold within your pension, making sure your retirement is safe from the next tax raid. They're based right here in London, about 5 minutes away from where I live, and I can't recommend them strongly enough. With inflation running rampant and our government's dead set on bleeding us all dry, this is 100% something you need to be paying attention to, and you can click the link down below in the description to get a free information pack from Gold Bullion Partners. So click the link in the description now and make sure your future is prepared.
The Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has said that Italy would consider suspending the Schengen zone agreement with Spain on free movement, something that Finland's Interior Minister has agreed with her on. They've said Spain had failed to protect its borders. The German Chancellor Friedrich Merz demanded Morocco take back illegal migrants immediately. Here's what Andy Burnham has said this afternoon.
It's a concerning situation, and I know people will see those scenes and want something to be done, more to be done. What I have done is firstly keep the current Home Secretary in place.
You can tell just how worried Andy Burnham is by this development. He has been, in no uncertain terms, absolutely killing it as far as politics goes during his first couple of weeks as Prime Minister. He has completely ignored the migration crisis so far and ignored the economic problems within the UK, instead focusing on incredibly cheap and small political wins like not letting out prison rapists from prison early, which will get him some polling boosts. But in the long run, he knows he's eventually going to have to fight the immigration crisis, as it is still the most important issue according to the majority of British people. And his party are dead set against attacking or targeting migrants in any way whatsoever. His party are even against not giving benefits out to people who got off a boat a week ago. He knows that the second he's forced to talk about migration, he is screwed as a Prime Minister. His popularity will crash, Labour's polling will drop off a cliff, and he will be in the exact same position as Starmer. And you can see that just in the way that he's speaking when answering this question here. This is the first time anyone from the legacy media has asked him a question about migration, and instantly all of that charisma and that natural charm and just a comfortableness with being on camera and speaking to journalists goes out the window.
Be done. What I have done is firstly keep the current Home Secretary in place, because the plan she has implemented has started to make a difference. Although this is the peak period of the year for crossings, overall the number of crossings is down, the number of removals of people is up, so there is progress, but we both recognise that we need to do more. And I will make a visit very shortly to Border Force on the south coast to see the situation for myself, assess it, and then agree with the Home Secretary what further we need to do. We've made headway, but certainly more is needed.
He's not wrong, Andy Burnham, when it comes to the problem with Britain about the numbers. But when I don't know whether you've seen this yourself. There are plenty of pictures of it now available. It is absolutely astonishing what has happened at the tip of North Africa. And it strikes me that the issue here is the law. It's the same to some extent with the migrant channel crossings. Same with the court ruling that if you arrive by boat, you can't be sent back to Morocco.
Here we are. This is a left-wing aligned journalist suddenly realising, oh, the problem isn't the far right. It's not that people have right-wing views or want borders to be, taken seriously and kept secure to keep our citizens safe. It's that the law is fundamentally rigged against the people of this country, and the exact same is true in Spain. Tom Swarbrick here is slowly starting to wake up.
Arrive by sea, you can't be sent back. It's obviously unsustainable. And in the end, European countries, having gone through this now for probably 15 years, 12, 15 years, European countries will have to agree on a migrant or asylum quota and then agree to disperse people across the continent, including in Britain. And then we have sustainability of numbers. 03456060973.
There we are. Now he's going to take a load of questions from other people and listen to them complain about his horrific idea, because let's be clear, that is an entirely stupid idea. Just because Spain decides that they want to let in 1.3 million illegal migrants and then make them all legal does not mean that Britain then has to let in 150,000 of those Spanish illegal migrants just because. We are not part of the EU anymore. We do have a literal sea between us and France and Belgium. We could be out there with our navy right now, sinking the bloody vessels, sending every single one of them back, and we would never have to accept another illegal migrant in my lifetime. We are making a conscious decision not to do that because the people in charge, the lawyers, the journalists, the politicians, the Labour Party, the PLP, Keir Starmer, Andy Burnham, whoever it may be at this explicit point in time, they actively want the illegal migrants. They know that a large proportion of them come from countries like Pakistan and Bangladesh, who are very, very likely to vote Labour and will never vote Reform. And of course, they are legally allowed to vote once they enter the United Kingdom. Even if a Pakistani man who's been in Pakistan his entire life, all of his family history and heritage comes from Pakistan, he doesn't speak a word of English, if he breaks into our country illegally, he is still allowed legally to vote in our elections. That's why the left keep pushing for this mass immigration, because they're trying to destroy British democracy and to take away the right to control our future and our fate away from British people. That's why they're never going to stop. That's why we have literally one election to win this control back, to deport all of those illegal migrants, to change the law so that foreigners are never allowed to vote in our elections again, and save Britain. Now, if you want the news the legacy media won't show you, like and comment under this video for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel as well. Or you can join my Substack to see the content I'm not allowed to post on YouTube by clicking the button on screen now. My mission with this channel is to give you the real news the establishment don't show you. But unfortunately, there are some things I'm just not allowed to say here. And recently, more and more of my videos have been getting demonetized and censored. So I've launched an email newsletter covering the news I'm not allowed to talk about here. So if you want the news the establishment don't want you to see, join my Substack by clicking the button on screen right now.